The most important moment happens after you stop watching.
Something in the environment snaps, and your dog's nervous system instantly takes over. The body goes rigid. It might manifest as a sharp bark, a desperate lunge at the end of the leash, or a panicked scramble backward. As humans, we are completely captivated by this storm. We watch the spectacle and instinctively start grading the performance, focusing on how loud the barking was or how aggressively they pulled. Getting caught up in the sheer volume and size of that explosion creates a cognitive blind spot. It obscures the biological reality of what the dog is actually experiencing. We traditionally measure behavioral success through subtraction. We look for shorter lunges, quieter barks, and fewer reactions overall. When you work with your dog for weeks and they still erupt at a passing bicycle with that same intensity, defeat quickly sets in. It feels as though nothing is changing. That frustration stems from a flawed assumption, the belief that if the outward reaction is still large, no internal progress is being made. A living, healthy nervous system is biologically required to respond to sudden uncertainty in the world. Startle, fear, and frustration are features of survival. Effective training prioritizes emotional regulation over absolute emotional suppression. The goal is to help the dog manage the response, not erase it. To see that regulation in action, we have to look past the reaction and measure a hidden variable: recovery. Recovery is the specific, quantifiable journey from high alert back to a resting baseline. A dog might explode at a trigger with the exact same intensity today as they did a month ago. The outward storm looks identical, but the internal timeline it takes to process that storm may be shrinking. On this arousal graph, yesterday's peak spike required 15 minutes to soften. Today, they hit that exact peak, settling in 8. Projected forward, recovery drops to 3 minutes. This shrinking timeline proves neural efficiency, making the initial trigger size entirely secondary. To measure this in the real world, you have to intentionally ignore the explosion. Once the trigger passes, put your focus strictly on the minutes that follow. Watch for the physical signs of downregulation. The rapid, shallow breathing begins to decelerate. The rigid tension in the shoulders and jaw slowly melts away. Next, look for the secondary behavioral shifts. The dog stops fixating on where the threat was, deliberately looks away, and lowers their nose back to the ground. These physical changes allow natural canine curiosity to boot back up. The dog begins to take in fresh information from the environment, rather than being locked in a defensive loop. A dog dropping its head to sniff a patch of grass provides the empirical, measurable evidence of a nervous system successfully finding its way home. You can turn this biology into a practical protocol. The next time your dog reacts to a squirrel or a loud truck, change how you observe the event. Acknowledge the start of the reaction, but silently begin timing the return. Watch for the moment the muscles soften and the nose returns to the ground. Document the exact duration of that journey. Write it down and repeat the measurement over consecutive days to track the trend line. Asking, "Did my dog react?" creates a binary pass or fail state that often leads to anxiety. Asking, "How did my dog recover?" offers a growth-oriented metric based on biological progress. Abandoning the old metric shifts your mindset. You stop acting as a judge of your dog's reactions and start acting as an observant, empathetic witness to their processing speed. The reality is that your dog's life will always contain startling moments. The world is simply too unpredictable for a life without storms. True emotional resilience comes from developing a deeply familiar, practiced neural pathway back to baseline. It is the ability to find the way home regardless of the trigger. The Canine Sensory Connection method actively builds this road home. It uses the dog's innate tools, scent, curiosity, and meaningful searching to ground them in their environment. Engaging the olfactory system forces the brain to process complex data instead of reacting to simple threats. This exercises the nervous system, strengthening its capacity to self-regulate after a spike. Effective companionship is not about erasing the world's difficulties. It is about teaching the dog where safety and learning actually reside, and showing them the way back.